I've always loved the woods. Not the peaceful kind you see in postcards, but the deep, endless forests where sunlight barely touches the ground. The kind where, if you walk far enough, it feels like the world behind you just disappears. Last summer, my two friends, Ethan and Mark, and I decided to go camping deep in a forest a few hours away from town. At first, everything felt normal. We set up our tent near a quiet clearing, surrounded by tall, dense trees that seemed to stretch forever into darkness. There was no signal, no other campers, just us. And silence. That first night, we sat by the fire, joking around, telling scary stories. Around midnight, Mark suddenly went quiet. "Do you hear that?" he asked. We listened. At first, nothing. Then a faint whistling sound echoed through the trees. It was soft, almost like someone trying to call a dog from far away. Ethan laughed nervously. Probably just the wind. But it wasn't random. It came again. Same tone. Same rhythm. And it sounded closer. We all went silent. The fire crackled loudly, but beyond that, the forest felt unnaturally still. Then something weird happened.
Mark, is
Mark
that
slowly
you?
stood up and started walking
Mark,
toward the trees.
can you hear me?
"Hey, what are you doing?"
Mark,
I asked.
please answer.
He didn't respond. He just kept walking, like he was being pulled by something. Ethan grabbed him and shook him hard. "Dude, snap out of it." Mark blinked rapidly, like he had just woken up. "What happened?" he asked. We didn't sleep much that night. And the whistling? It continued until sunrise.
Did you
The
hear
next
that
morning,
last night?
we decided to stay one more
Thought
night.
I was imagining
Looking
it.
back,
We need to
that
be
was our
careful.
biggest mistake. Everything seemed
is
fine
nice,
during the
isn't
day.
it?
Birds were chirping,
Yeah,
sunlight
so
broke through the
peaceful.
trees. It
For
almost
now.
felt peaceful again. But when evening came, that feeling vanished. Around dusk, Ethan went to get water from a nearby lake. He came back pale. "There are footprints," he said. "So," I replied. He shook his head. "They're coming out of the lake." We laughed at first, thinking he was joking. But he insisted, so we followed him. At the edge of the water, we saw them. Wet footprints. Human-shaped, but wrong. Too long. Too thin. They started at the water and led straight toward our campsite. "What the hell?" Mark whispered. We followed them slowly. They stopped right outside our tent, and there were no footprints leading away. That night, none of us wanted to stay, but it was already dark, and leaving meant walking miles through pitch-black forest. So we stayed inside the tent, zipped it tight, and kept a flashlight on. Hours passed. Nothing. Then, around 3 a.m., we heard footsteps. Slow. Crunching leaves. Circling the tent. We froze. The steps stopped right behind me. Then something pressed against the tent fabric. A shape.